it feel good to get a break? And did you guys regenerate yourselves a little bit?
Yeah, it definitely felt good. I mean, it felt good and it didn't feel good because, getting a break, we all know, you kind of get a little sluggish sometimes. And I feel like that was the case for us in the DePaul game. I feel like we were kind of sluggish on defense. You could tell that we had too many days off. But overall, it was really great to kind of get together and just kind of focus on practice a little bit more than on games and stuff that we need to work on. And I feel like we did a great job at it. So,
how do you compare this year's confidence in this team right now versus last year's team's confidence at the same point?
I would say pretty similar. I would say we were in similar situations last year. Obviously with all the injuries, everything going on, you had to overcome that as a team, and I feel like we are on the way to overcome that. And our confidence, hasn't shaken up a bit, even with all the players out. People have their doubts, which is absolutely normal, but we trust our coaching staff, we trust each other, and our confidence stays the same. So,
Nika, you talked about the other week. Paige is the hardest working player you've ever seen. How is seeing that kind of day in, day out for the last 3-4 years kind of push you to become the best player you can be?
It's definitely pushed me a lot, and I feel like when it's pushed me the most was when I was playing and she wasn't. Specifically when she was injured on the sideline, and I would see her work and just be so grateful, and it would be very humbling, humbling experience, especially because everybody talking about you need to step up for Paige, they were looking at me as a point guard that is going to step up for the best point guard in the country. So it was a lot of pressure, but it was also very humbling to see her work so hard on the sideline to get back, and it pushed me to work even harder and be grateful that I'm able to be on the court. So she definitely helped me, understand how precious it is to, play and work hard, which, just makes you be grateful and that you can even work hard. So
I'm sure you saw Aaliyah signed to Adidas earlier this week.
They're not allowed to comment on that because they're international student athletes.
Sorry.
How'd you catch that shiner?
How did I what?
Eye?
This? Yeah, it's just a little, it's nothing. It was against Creighton. It was, unintentional. It was all right. I like it though.
What do you want to leave as your legacy here? You talk about Paige being, one of the greatest point guards. Do you want to have people talking about you as one of the greatest point guards ever at UConn? Is that what you hope you've accomplished?
I feel like I've never put myself into that category, especially, with all the legends up there, and you look at the people on the walls, and I've kind of never, I don't know, I just never even thought about myself, being even close to that, and I still don't. The thing that I wanted to leave was just me being a great teammate, me being a great person to be around, and I feel like, just being a hard worker, I feel like that was the main thing that I wanted to leave with here, just knowing that I gave it my all, and that I gave it 100% in every aspect, with all the ups and downs, and just still being a hard worker. I feel like that's the legacy that I want to leave behind myself. Accolades and accomplishments, team or individual, I feel like that's just gonna follow by itself with all the things. So,
moving up the assist list, how does a player look at that from a personal point of view? When, are you counting assists? Do you ever look, how far am I away from player A, B, C, or D? And how important is it to you to be up there with those, to follow Roger's question, those kind of players? You're talking All-Americans and, great players.
Yeah, it's weird. It's honestly weird because, those are such high-achieving players, and I don't think of myself as even close in that category. And to be up there with them, just with the numbers and stuff, it's kind of humbling, I look at myself and I'm just like, I have so much more to work on, and I have so much more to, just prove to myself and prove to my team and prove to others, mainly to myself. So I feel like it's more humbling than me being proud of myself. I would say just being in the company of those names and everything, I'm like, whoa, I'm not even close. I need to work harder and I need to be better. So it's cool, don't get me wrong, but I give a good portion of, thanks to my teammates and my coaching staff for those accolades.
You're closing in on a second 200 assist season. I don't know how many have done that. I'd have to look that up. But,
yeah. Yeah, I mean,
So what's been the difference these last 2 years than the first two? Where did you make the most progress?
Obviously, I've had much more minutes than I've had in the first 2 years. We got to be realistic. I've had much more minutes, a lot of more roles to fill in these last years because of injuries and everything. But I would mainly say just realizing that I'm going to have more minutes and that's a lot more responsibilities and a lot more pressure and just kind of dealing with that. I would say that's been the biggest thing for me. I've never been in a situation with so much pressure, so many eyes looking at you, especially in this program, where everybody expects perfection, excellence, wins, and that's what I kind of learned to expect for myself too and my team. And what can I say? It's just been a roller coaster of a ride, and I'm just, I'm proud of myself and I'm proud of my teammates for trusting me. I feel like it's all about trust when it comes to things like that.
So how close are you to making a decision about after this year, and do you have a timetable in your mind as to when that announcement might come?
I'm actually really close to making that decision. I just feel like I'm trying to look for the right time to announce everything. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
You've talked about your own stubbornness almost since you got here. Did you have to get over that in certain aspects to become the player you've been, or has it served you in becoming the player that you've been?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say both. I would say it served me a lot, especially when it came to like proving other people wrong or proving myself wrong. But it's also been, Coach always used to say that's my biggest strength and my biggest weakness. Just the reason that I'm stubborn. So I would say it's also been a weakness in many aspects in which, I didn't look at things rationally, or I just didn't hold myself accountable, or just from being a leader, from that standpoint, you can't be a leader and be stubborn. You need to think about people around you. You need to think about your team, what your team needs, not what you want. So I feel like it's definitely not helped me in that aspect, but it's also helped me learn to not be like that. So it's definitely been both.
How did it change into a positive? Did Coach finally get to you and break through, or did you talk to Paige and she said, you can be stubborn about this, but not about that?
Yeah, I feel like once you start realizing that all the people around you are constantly repeating the same thing, telling you, hey, you need to be less stubborn, it's gonna help us, it's gonna help you. But nobody can help you until you realize it yourself. It's just how it works. And it's taken me a while, and I'm not saying I'm still there. I'm definitely not. That's still my biggest weakness for sure. But the progress that I've made has been tremendous, and I'm proud of myself for that. And I'm thankful to Coach, especially because he's been the main reason why, I've been progressing and changing in that aspect.
So is there one area of your personal growth that you're just most proud of?
I would maybe say just emotionally, just because I don't think the on the court stuff, the working hard, you obviously sometimes fail, you don't, but I don't think that was a problem for me. I think emotional part, like just getting away from, how can I word that? Just like not being overly emotional when things don't go your way, or being too emotional when things go your way. I feel like I've kind of had to find that middle ground, that straight line. And it's hard when you're an emotional person, which I really am. So just with the help of people around me, I feel like I've kind of found that calmness. And I still, go up and down sometimes, don't get me wrong, but there's definitely progress. So.
I'm going to assume you're starting tomorrow.
Sorry?
I'm going to assume that you're starting tomorrow.
Yeah, that's Coach.
Well, if you somehow get through practice and you do start, it would be your 100th career start.
Oh,
Is that
wow.
a number that means something when you think back to what you've been through?
That's actually pretty cool. I never thought about that. Yeah, it means something because I don't know why, but it always takes me to that Tennessee game my freshman year when Coach didn't even play me. And I was just like, it always takes me back to that when I think about how many games I've played and how many minutes I've played or how many games I've started. It always takes me back to that game and like what I learned in that game. And yeah, it's cool. It's cool. But you should tell Coach that.
This
That's
season,
for Coach.
If I tell him, he won't start.
this season you've basically 3 point guards are sharing the floor at the same time between yourself, KK, and Paige. What were kind of the initial challenges of that, and why do you think you guys have worked so well together?
I feel like obviously, when you have 3 point guards, we all like to have the ball in our hands. That's not a lie. I mean, that's something every point guard likes to do. That's our job. That's what we're used to. So we kind of had to find that balance of like moving without the ball. I feel like that was the main thing that I personally had to learn of what to do without the ball. Set good screens, make good cuts, space out, just like things like that. Because you're always looking for the ball as a point guard, especially coming from last year where I had the ball for a lot of time in my hands. I was practically one of the only guards on the floor with Lou and whoever was playing at that time. But I feel like it's helped us because when you have 3 people that can handle the ball, it's hard to press us. It's hard to do things like that because we can all handle it. So it's definitely had good things and bad things about it, but I feel like we're stuck on the good things now because we've learned how to play with each other in those situations, and I feel like that only made us better as players going forward. So I feel like that challenge was really, really good for us this year.
When it comes to regulating those emotional ups and downs, is there like an experience that you feel like helped you kind of get there? Was it just kind of over time figuring that out, and are you able to kind of help some of the younger guys figure that out too now?
Yeah, I definitely, when I look at Jana, that's it always. I was just talking to Coach the other day, and she was shooting. I don't know, she missed like 3 in a row. She's a really good shooter, and she missed like 3 in a row, and she just started cussing in Egyptian, and it was like this whole, in Arabic. And it was just this whole thing, and she's just like, so expressive and so emotional. And I think to myself, and I remember myself freshman year when I was cussing in Croatian, and it was like, everybody was just looking at me like, what is going on? So I'll look at myself now, and I'm like, I don't have those reactions anymore, I kind of know how to like, just forget about that last thing and focus on the next thing. But I thought that was really a good example of how similar we are as internationals, so expressive, so emotional in that way. And I feel like Jenna is amazing at that. I feel like that actually fuels her, helps her. To me, it was the opposite. It kind of like fueled me the wrong way, fueled me the negative way. But I feel like she's if you ever hear her cuss in Arabic in a game next year, she's gonna go off. So
I'm sure it helps to have another language in the back pocket to pull out too.
Sure.
Yeah. Last year, Leah struggled for a lot of February. This year, she's probably playing as well as she has consistently through her career. What have you seen the difference?
I don't even know if she struggled. Did she struggle?
Yeah, she struggled a bit.
Really?
Yeah. South Carolina, she played after that for like the next 3 weeks.
See, she's that great that I don't even remember she struggled. She's just that great, and I feel like she's finally getting the recognition that she deserves. I feel like she's been, I don't know what's the word, overlooked or underlooked? Overlooked, I'm sorry. Overlooked for so many times in her career, and just seeing her finally get the recognition. And I'm not talking about social media or stuff like that. I'm just talking about like people talking about her in general, and her getting that. She's one of the best players that's come to this program. We're not fooling anybody. We're not lying here. She's averaging almost a double-double. I don't know if she's averaging a double-double. It's just ridiculous what she consistently does game through game. And it's not even, it's against everybody. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter what they're ranked. She brings her game every game, and nobody can stop her. And it's been a pleasure playing with her. And, I don't know where we would be without her. Nowhere. So just such a great player, such a great inspiration for, all the younger players and, even the older players. So, I don't know.
Okay, so after clarifying what we can and what we can't ask you about, let me ask you this. How much being an international player and not being allowed to make money here, how much does that impact your decision as to whether to become a professional athlete or to stay in college?
I would say it doesn't really impact me that much because I've never had that initially. So it's not like I had it and it was taken away from me. I kind of just never had that. So I don't really know what it's like, I would say. But I feel like when you're here, especially at UConn, it's not about how much money you make. It's not about NIL. It's not about what else you can do. I feel like everybody's priority here is basketball. The legacy here, the things that you learn are so much more than the money you can get. And I feel like that is gonna translate into life later, about what you learned about life itself, what you learned about perseverance, resilience, hard work, dedication, discipline. And you're gonna make money later on in life just by, you know, having that experience here. So I'm not worried about that. It's not about money here. It's about experience. It's about the relationships. It's about the connections. It's about the people, and it's about winning and just like being a part of this greatness. And just that itself is so much more worth than any money from anybody. So
You've talked about the team confidence, and coach obviously recruits confident players who can uphold all the tradition here. When you guys look at somebody like Paige, how does she uplift the confidence of even a bunch of confident players? I mean, when she's playing the way she is now, does it change you guys?
Absolutely. I mean, having the best player in the country on your team uplifts the confidence a lot. So, you know, just having her on the floor just means so much. It's a security. And not just for the younger guys, it's a security for us older guys too, because I remember the times where we didn't have her on the floor and how hard it was. And I really appreciate so much having her on the floor, and just knowing that you can give the ball, I always say that, just knowing that you can give the ball to somebody and they're gonna make great things happen, you know, with or without your help. Obviously with our help, and we're just so much better, but just her as what she is, she makes things look so easy. And I think coach said the other day, she has such a quick mind, and that is so true. And I've never seen anybody say anything so more true than that about her. She has such a quick mind, and she plays at such a slow pace, which is incredible. And it's not just talent. I've said it 100 times. It's hard work, it's dedication, it's everything that she does off the court. So, I mean, brings extreme confidence and security to our team.
What's impressed you about her defense as someone that's, you know, a two-time Conference Player of the Year? What's impressed you this season about her defense?
I mean, I feel like her defense has always been overlooked because she is a really good defensive player. She's long, she can jump high, you know, she has a quick mind. She can read stuff really well. She's very smart. She watches a lot of basketball, and, you know, that translates. Obviously, if you watch a lot of professional basketball, it's going to translate into anything you do. You know, you're just going to read the game before everybody else. So just with her quickness, and, you know, she's a shot blocker. I mean, she is, and nobody can say anything. And she's a guard, and people don't realize how versatile she is. So I'm very impressed, and, you know, I would trust her to guard anybody. In the post, on the perimeter, it doesn't matter. So, yeah.